Hey everyone, Magic Man Scott 40k here. I just finished the Earth versus Mars demo. If you guys don't know what Earth versus Mars is, I think a lot of people don't know. It's Relic's new game. So they made Dawn of War 1, 2, and 3. I think Dawn of War 3 came out like 2010. 2013, around there, and a long time after that came this. And I'm not sure, honestly I'm not sure if they made a game after Dawn of War 3. I think they took a break. I'm not sure if they made a game between 2013 and now, to be honest. But this is their newest game. They also made Space Marine 1, which is a pretty big deal because I've been told Space Marine 2 is actually the most popular Warhammer game out there, which is surprising because sometimes I have a hard time finding a multiplayer. Like, you need like 12 people for multiplayer. I have a hard time finding them. But I've been told it's the most popular. It put it made Warhammer like normal. Like, everybody's like talking about it. Like, normal people, like Space Marine 2 and Space Marine 1, for a lot of people that was their first taste of it, if that makes sense. Alright, so yeah, this is Relic's newest game. Before I give you my thoughts, I'll just show you what it is. So it is turn-based. This demo was 2 gigabytes, which I believe is actually smaller than Dawn of War 1. Dawn of War 1 is like 4 gigabytes, I think. So the good news is this game should run on any computer. Pretty much any computer should be able to handle it. So Warhammer was interesting because of how dark it was. If you know the ending of the story, that makes Warhammer much more interesting. For this, I don't know. Let me show you the gameplay for a second. I do think the game's interesting. So let me say this off the bat. So yes, the game is not that great to look at, but it took me 3 hours to beat the computer once. In Dawn of War 1, I can beat the computer in about 8 minutes. That's about the fastest I can do it, going like super tryhard. In this, I went super tryhard, and it still took me like 3 hours. So let me show you some gameplay. I'm gonna go back and forth between the mechanics. So there's no cutscene. I think if you go on the store page, there's a trailer, and the trailer is like the cutscene. So let me just skip through this. I want to show you guys the gameplay, and then I'm gonna go backwards. I picked this guy because I thought he looked cool, and there's the word tank, which reminds me of Imperial Guard. As an Imperial Guard player, I was like, ooh. This girl here seems pretty good. She's got like a nice bonus. But yeah. And then you have this fly monster. And this fly monster reminds me of Impossible Creatures. If you guys don't know, right before Dawn of War 1 came out, Impossible Creatures came out, and I played Impossible Creatures, and it was actually really good. Like, really good. It was kind of a joke, but it was actually like, Impossible Creatures is a joke, but it's actually like really good. It's a comedy. Impossible Creatures is a comedy, but I actually really enjoy the game a lot. So this right here reminds me a lot of Impossible Creatures. And it also reminds me of XCOM. Because in XCOM's newest game, they have these alien creature combiners. So it gives me Impossible Creatures and XCOM vibes. The story isn't completely new, but in this art style, I actually seen this art style before. It's not like completely new either. Anyways, let me talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is really all that matters. Honestly, the gameplay is the only thing I care about. The game can look like total garbage, and if the gameplay is good, I'll play it. Alright, so I picked this guy because of the word tank. I thought that was cool. And I picked this guy because he was on the top of the list. This is like your commander, if you ever played Dawn of War. I picked him because he's on the top of the list. I did not pick the other two. Now in the demo, there's 3 commanders to pick from. But according to the full game, there'll be 10 commanders to pick from. So that's pretty big difference, I would say. Alright. So I'm gonna pick this guy. This guy will be my commander. Alright, so let me show you guys the gameplay for a minute. And then I'll go back to there is splicing. I'll show you splicing. I don't really understand it, but it's in the game. Okay, so it took me 3 hours to beat this. You have to play, I would say, perfectly. If you make like one mistake, it's over. But because you're fighting computer, I don't think it's a big deal. If you're playing against a player, I can find that really annoying. But if it's computer, like, I don't mind. I will say, if you're bad at strategy games, this demo is like it's crazy hard. I would say this is like at least hard difficulty to even insane difficulty. It's pretty tough. Okay. So let me just explain the units. I'll show you a little bit of gameplay, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. The first thing I want to tell you guys is there is a cover system. So if you look at that shield, there's a shield in the bottom right, and that's cover. Warhammer had light cover, heavy cover, and negative cover. In this game, you have 0 cover, which is this one. Then you have 1 shield. There should be 2 shield, and then 3 shield. I think these ones here are 4 shield, but you can't really use these. These are 4 shield, but you can't use them. Now these shields are a big deal because they basically make you invincible. You can't really die with these shields. So basically at the start of the game, you just want to go straight for the 3 shield ones. And these are also your resources. So resources and also 3 shields. There's a couple games that did this, like Songs of Conquest. So if you hide inside your city, if you put all your guys inside your city, you're basically invincible. So that made attacking someone's castle like impossible. And this game has the same thing. It's much easier to defend than it is to attack. So I'm gonna have this guy on the bottom go to this city here. Okay, I'm gonna capture it. This takes about 2 or 3 turns. Now you capture it based on the game doesn't tell you everything, but I believe you capture it based on your squad size. So right now I have full squad size, and I can capture the city very quickly. But if I take damage, my squad size actually goes down. Now this game does have the reinforced system in Dawn of War. If you guys remember the reinforced system, this game also has it. Alright. One thing about this game is there's no base building, and there's no like upgrades. So whatever you have is what you got. Alright. And when this bar fills up all the way, I get a free tank. And when this bar fills up all the way, he does a orbital, he does a sky attack that does about 30 damage. So you can hit all my guys on the map for 30 damage. Okay? And your damage is based on your health. So right now I have 100 health. So now I'm doing 100% damage. Basically that 100 right there is how much damage you're doing. So I'm doing 100% damage. But let's say I take 30 damage. Now I'm doing 70% damage. If that makes sense. Alright. So here's infantry. Infantry is probably your weakest unit, but also the most useful one. And I'll send this guy up. He can move 4 spaces, which is really slow. He'll pretty much never fight. Infantry never fights because of how slow he is. He's just so slow. And then we have the tank here. The tank can move like 8 spaces. So right at the start, I can pretty much fight. Now tanks, so my tank is stronger than the AI tank, but it does lose to anti-vehicle. So I'm not gonna put it up here. It also loses to aircraft. So that's something to know. So I'm gonna put my tank here, not too far, not too close. Only people can capture cities, so I'm not gonna put my vehicles near my cities. And I'm gonna spread my army out because that feels tactical. Then you have your commander here. There's 3 commanders to pick from. Mine can fly. As you can see here, he can ignore the map. And he also has a special ability where I can damage the ground, which does about 20 damage, give or take. Now because he's actually in the air, a lot of things in the game can't hit him. Like tanks. Tanks cannot hit this flying enemy. So you need, it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. If something has flying, you just cannot hit it. And you only get one commander. If he goes down, he goes down. You can't bring him back. And then you have Stingray. Stingray is only good against flying enemies, and that's it. So it does have range. So it can shoot like 3 squares away. So that's pretty cool. But it's only good against flying units. So I'm gonna look at the enemy's flying unit, which is right here in this corner. So now I'm gonna send my guy into the corner. Okay, I'm gonna do this corner to corner fight. Another infantry. I'm gonna capture the city, get some resources going. And here's the shop. I think on release they're gonna add more units to the game. You have transport. Transport does exactly the same thing as Dawn of War. Can't attack. Really, it just gives your infantry a movement boost, and that's pretty much it. It's also a distraction unit. The computer will try to kill it as quickly as it can. And then you have artillery. Artillery takes 2 turns to set up, but it basically one-shots anything in the game. It also dies to anything, so it's a very specific unit. High damage, like no defense, no health. Stingray, only good against aircraft. That's pretty much it. Goliath is basically your relic unit. It's your super unit. It does go down pretty quick though. It's not like invincible or anything. It can take out like 2 squads, and that's pretty much it. This game is more of a 1 squad fights 1 squad kind of game. You can't have 1 squad kill everything. And then you have a tank. Tank is mostly anti-squad, and that's pretty much it. And then you have the heavy. The heavy is your anti-vehicle. The heavy is actually really good. The heavy is super good. This is probably, I would say the heavy is probably the best unit in the game, because it's pretty much anti-everything. It does okay damage to not vehicles, and it also does high damage to vehicles. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and buy heavies, and I'll explain the aliens. So the aliens have the same exact thing, they just look different, and they don't have a commander. At least not on this map. I think on the other map they might have a commander. Okay, and I will say this, the turn 1 is always different. The turn 1, like, the computer makes no sense. I have no idea how the computer works. All I know is the computer is extremely aggressive. It will send 3 guys to kill 1 tank. The computer is extremely aggressive. It will not hold your hand, like, at all. Okay, so let me explain the computer real quick. So this guy with the weird nose, that's the artillery, except it shoots in a circle. It curves. So the artillery does much less damage, but it can hit like 5 squads in a circle. So this artillery punishes you for being in like a circle. So if I look at my army right now, no one's really in a circle right now. But if I were to put them in a circle, it would hit everybody. Here we have a flying unit. Flying units do low damage, but no one can hit them, and they're super fast. It's probably the fastest unit in the game, and you can't do anything about it. It's basically a scout. These scout units are extremely annoying. So that's the flying unit there. It does low damage, but it can fly around them. It basically denies you the cities. That's basically its job. It also denies you from like retreating. If you try to retreat, it'll just get behind you and you die. Then you have troopers. Troopers are much worse than your soldiers. Troopers are basically useless. They can't beat anything. They're just there for show. So if you see a trooper, that's just a free win. And then we have Blaster. Blaster is the anti-vehicle, and their anti-vehicle is not bad. I think the missile launchers are better, the human ones, but I think blasters are pretty decent anti-vehicle. If you have 2 or 3 squads of these guys, they will kill all your tanks. But the tanks are anti-squad, so they both kill each other at the same time. And then you have this. This is much worse than a human tank, but the computer will make like 10 of these. and it's really annoying to fight 10 of them. Now again, if you have anti-vehicle or tanks, you can kill it because your tanks are better. But the computer will have like 5 of these, and you will have like two tanks. So, but what makes this really difficult is the computer will have twice the army size. They'll have twice the guys. They'll have twice everything. They'll have double your army size easily. And I guess I can show you a fight. It looks a lot like Fire Emblem, if you guys are familiar with Fire Emblem. I will say this, whoever attacks first pretty much wins the game. It's not fair. Whoever attacks first wins. It's not even like, you can't even compare the two. It's like not even, it's not fair at all. Okay. And the cities also heal you. So this is a fight. Your tanks are better. So now we have 79% damage, and I have about 50% damage. So my tanks are better, but they're losing because they attacked first. Now if I attacked first, I would have won. I'll tell you guys now, my army is better. But they attacked first. Attacking first is overpowered. It sounds stupid, but that's how the game works. If you attack first, you win. Okay, now here, I want my rocket launcher guy to shoot this red tank. I want my missile launcher thingy to attack this saucer. And I can have anyone attack this artillery guy. I think he takes 2 or 3 turns to set up. He's not going to attack me right away. These trooper guys are just for show. I'm just going to ignore them. And really, this right side here is the main threat. Now, the alien army is actually really weak. But the second they start capturing these cities here, you'll pretty much lose. And I would say that's the gameplay right there. And your commander is like anti-everything. So I can just send him in there. I can send my commander in there and he'll slaughter everything. But again, you get 1 commander per game. So if he dies, that's it. So I could send my guy in there and kill absolutely everything. I can one-shot everything. But if 4 squads, let's say 5 squads hit him, he's gonna go down. So, yeah. Now I do know tanks can't hit him. So for right now, he can be my tank killer. And that's basically the gameplay for the first map. Now this first map took me 3 hours to beat. Like, in a row. I was in one sitting. I kept trying and trying again. That's the gameplay loop. Now each map is completely different. The second map is actually a control map. So in this one here, your job is to control the area. And again, only people can control things. And also your commander. Your commander can control things. So vehicles are pretty much useless in this one. And then you have this one here, which I think makes it so you can't see the enemy. You have to like guess. This one's kind of weird. Yeah, it says here they're hiding. So you just have to play this over and over and over again until you figure out where they're at. Again, defending is much easier than attacking. Attacking is like impossible. And again, I do think you have to play perfectly. Now we have splicing. Splicing is what makes the game unique, but I have not figured it out yet because I just not that interested, to be honest. I'm not a huge, like, some people might think this is cool. I don't know. Warhammer is very anti experiment. It's very anti AI. So I know Warhammer is, you know, fiction, but anyways, I've been playing Warhammer for like 5 years. So when I see stuff like this, I see like an abomination. It's Warhammer has a big influence on me. So that right there is the whole demo. Again, 3 maps. It took me 3 hours to beat the AI once. Just to beat him once, it took me 3 hours. So I don't really want to spend 3 hours on each map. Sorry. I really don't want to spend 3 hours on each map. So I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna call it quits. Spending 3 hours on one map is just. I can spend my time better. That's basically my thoughts on the game. And yeah. So there's 3 maps right now, but it said on release, I think there's gonna be 30 maps. So this demo is about 10 times smaller than the actual game. Just so everybody knows. And there is cutscenes, and if you look at the store trailer, there are cutscenes, just not in the demo. So I'm guessing the actual game will be like 5 to 10 times bigger. That's just a guess. Don't quote me. But yeah. I think the game is actually really fun. I'm a big fan of the rock paper scissors thing. Huge fan of that. Not a huge turn-based guy. I seen this whole Earth versus Mars thing 100 times. Earth versus Mars has been done to death, so I just don't think it's that unique. But yeah, let me know what you think. That's my thoughts. I found the demo like really tough. That's my 2 cents. That's just how I feel. But maybe you guys will beat it first try. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Bye.